Hello and welcome back to the Future Edit. I'm your host, Kelly Eckhart. And this week I have Valentina from Enamor, which I'm super excited about. Now, I met Valentina, I think we probably met through Instagram, or was it Carolina?
Yeah, I think I started following you because Carolina was in
Okay,
love with your things.
nice.
And yeah, we met through Instagram.
This is when the power of Instagram is amazing, when you can move to a new city and you don't know anyone and it brings amazing creative women together. And this is when I'm like, okay, I love Instagram because I know we all have a little bit of, love-hate relationship with it. But today I brought Valentina on because I want her to talk about her journey as coming to Frankfurt with her then husband, starting her life here. Valentina is a chef. She's an amazing chef. She's a wonderful pop-ups around here in Frankfurt. We're going to just talk about her journey, going through her divorce, reestablishing herself as Valentina and not a wife, and her journey to building her business here. So welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Kelly, so much for having me.
So we have a lot of wonderful things to talk about today. So first off, I want you please to introduce yourself.
Okay, cool. So, hello, everybody. I'm really happy to be here again. Um, I hope that everybody that is listening to us this morning gets a little bit of love and connection with my story. I will open up my heart as much as I can. I'm from Colombia. I'm 40 years old. I moved to Frankfurt 10 years ago. I'm a chef and also I'm a lawyer. I was a specialist in minorities and I always loved art and people and sharing and helping, and life brought me to different experiences where lead me to understand that through cooking I could express myself, also connect people, and food is something that nature people, and it was in an environment that was more free and creative for me. So I kind of find myself better in a kitchen than in an office. And 12 years ago, I decided 100% to become a chef. So I quit my career, went to Argentina, start from zero, study cooking, and then moved to Colombia again and blah, blah, blah. And then I was with my ex-husband together. And I had two restaurants in Colombia, but I decided that I wanted to be adventurous and I sold them and I came here to Germany. And then I start again all over. And yeah, we married a year after I moved here. And then the story starts in Germany.
Nice. And so tell me about your experience with moving to Germany. How was that for you?
Okay, so let's say that it was not the first time that I moved to a different country. So it was not so, I was not so afraid on the beginning to do it. Of course, 10 years ago, the Valentina had different expectations from life, and well, we all evolve or change. So on the beginning, I was not too afraid. I have to say, I had never imagined that my culture and the German culture is so different. I've came here before a couple of times, but you can never really understand a culture until you really live it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? So I mean, I think love makes us a little bit numb. So on the beginning, I didn't really feel the differences because everything was like, oh my God, it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's so cool that here there is snow, or that you find amazing breads, or I don't know, that there is autumn with the leaves. So on the first 2 years, I have to say, I was really enjoying the process of yeah moving to a new place. But after 2 years I did realize that I was not here yet with my head and my heart as Valentina. I was just living experience that was like my love life and how to learn the language and meeting friends, but it's like, how do you feel in this culture? Yes.
Yeah.
And that was a little bit of a shock.
Yeah.
Also because I am a chef, but I am, it's like my goal and what I do, it's Latin food. So it was not so easy to find the niche of like the clients who could understand who I am and what I do. So yeah, I have to say it took me at least 2 years to understand, okay, I'm here in Germany. And on the beginning, it really gives me a lot of, I mean, on the beginning, after these 2 years, I felt quite anxious because I thought that this perfection and organization and planning was like the only way that I could fit in the society. And it gives me a lot of anxiety because I was not used to that.
Yeah.
And I was forcing myself to be in that way. And it was kind of a little bit of a shock because then I neglect myself to practice the language, to integrate, because it was like, no, this is the way I am and I'm not going to change. And it took me a while to accept my decision in a lovely way for myself, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I cannot say that from the beginning I got the culture, I got the language. I mean, I still struggle with the language, but and it's been 10 years.
Not an easy one.
But it's definitely, I can say I moved here when I was 30. So I didn't have like a past here. I just came here because of a person.
Yeah.
And if I had the experience that I have now, of course, I will have done some things different, but it's fine. I learned from it. But I think one of the most vulnerable things a person can do is to move to a new culture, because I used to feel like really naked.
Yeah.
I mean,
every day.
in Colombia, there is no this transport systems. So for me to go from the train to the bus to the tram was like literally, I felt like a 3-year-old girl.
Yep.
Going to the bakery and not knowing what to have. I mean, I felt so naked, so vulnerable, that it really put me in a position to be humble in a good way.
Yeah.
So I think it's one of the greatest things to learn a new culture, but I also think that it can be one of the things that change you as a person forever.
Yeah, completely. I mean, I was in the same boat. I mean, I've been in Frankfurt 4 years now, and I remember being quite upset every day. You are putting yourself out there every single day, and it's exhausting. And because, you know, in your own language, in your own culture and country, it's easy. It's like second nature, right? You get up, you do this, you don't even think about it. It's like do. But when you're in a new culture, you're like, I really have to think about this all the time. And it's not so much that they're judging you, you're judging yourself to get it right. Like, I have to get it right, which then, like you say, anxiety, anxious, because you can't express yourself, the real you, and you're kind of putting on this facade just to try to make it work every day. So yeah, I hear you on that, but it also completely stretches you. You're like, wow, I didn't realize I could do that. Okay, that's cool. I'm so much stronger now because of it.
Absolutely, yes.
It's like, so let's talk about now your journey as a chef, being here in Frankfurt, and tell us more about what you do. And yeah, let's talk about your experiences here.
Okay, so well, like I said, when I arrived here, I didn't know anyone. We was not living in Frankfurt, actually, like 45 minutes from here, in a town that there was not like,
oh, that's hard,
nothing. There was not even a cinema. And I didn't have a job permission.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I was here studying the language. I wanted to see if I was gonna like it, and then if I wanted to stay or not. So I like dancing, so I went to a dancing studio, and that was my only connection, but I didn't know a word, so there was not so much possibilities. And then I thought, okay, I want to work. I want to do something, and the only thing that I could do was taking care of babies. I don't have kids. I don't think I would. I like kids, but it's not something that I would have done ever in Colombia or in any place that I lived before.
Yeah.
But that was like, okay, I need to go out from home. I need to do something. So I went to one interview, and like we both always talk, the universe always knows
Yeah.
what is going to happen. I went to this family, American family, and the woman was a lawyer working for a Spanish airport. So she needed someone who could read some text in Spanish. But when I went to the interview, that was not the goal, was taking care of her baby. It was a very important baby for the family because they tried for a long, long, long time to have a baby. So she was really like, my baby needs to be like taken care of from someone that I 100% trust.
Yeah.
So I said to her, we had a really good connection. I said, look, for me, family is everything. So I can only tell you that I will take care of your kid like I would have take care of my brother kid. But I don't know nothing. I don't know how to change a nappy, nothing. But I'm just, family is important. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
We start, and of course, for the baby was difficult to be 100% with me. So sometimes the mom was doing home office. So I had a lot of free time on the beginning. And then I thought, okay, why not? They are not hiring me to cook, but I would just go to the kitchen and cook. And then she was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. So they used to live in the American Siedlung from here in Frankfurt. It's a huge community. And then the word spread, and it was the Colombian nanny who is a chef. So a lot of families used to ask for my services. So I was basically doing this concept, which was I go to your home, I take care of your kid, I cook a romantic dinner. You both have a romantic dinner, and I leave to the playground with the kids so you can have free time in the afternoon on a lunch, blah, blah, blah. I stayed with this family for, I think, 1 year. They was like my family here. I love them. And then the whole community was like my community.
Nice.
I had a lot of opportunities. I was doing cooking courses for the American community. I was doing parties for kids. I was being a nanny, blah, blah, blah. And then one day somebody told me, hey, the wife of the Ghani, one of the Marines, it's a Colombian woman. And I thought, oh, how cool. Tell her that I'm going to make tamales next week, that come to the house, and then I will give her some tamales. And they was looking this the Ghani, I mean, this Marine was looking for a chef for the canteen of the militaries here in Frankfurt. So I got my first job there.
Nice.
So from being a creative woman, I jumped from a kitchen, 99% men, Marines, young, cooking food for power men.
Yeah.
Like loads of protein, a completely different atmosphere, blah, blah, blah. And I stayed there for 2 years.
Okay.
And of course, I continue doing my caterings and things, but I have not yet arrived in Germany still.
Yeah.
Because my life was in my home with my ex-husband. We met in England, so it was in English.
Yeah.
And in the American consulate, of course, nobody speaks German because they live in their own American world.
They do. Yeah.
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 So at that time, my mom got sick. And I went to take care of her, and she passed. So I went home for a couple of months to take care of some things, and then I lost my job. So it was one of those times that you, like reborn, restart.
Yeah.
But I had a really good connection, and a lot of people at the community who was supporting me. So at that time, there was a hotel, or still there is a hotel, and they had a shop that somebody could rent, and then I took the opportunity, and then I opened my own shop at the consulate. It was not really a shop, it was the room of a hotel that I was renting just to have like some sandwiches and things. And then, to make this long story short, after 1 year, there was not one room but 7.
Wow.
So
amazing.
They decided to build a big kitchen, and I wait a couple of years for this project to happen. And then it was, yeah, I mean, a lot of processes. I mean, I can tell you 100 things, but just to lead you until today, and like to integrate it with my private life, the divorce, and all of this crazy journey. When the kitchen was ready, September, was in September, my dad got sick. And he passed away.
Okay.
And then we opened the shop in September. It was a lot of happiness for me. I create my Enamor brand. I was absolutely like focusing my energy, my love, my creativity into this project, and having like a professional kitchen finally. And then COVID came.
Ugh.
And from this was
COVID.
like 6 years. And then just before COVID, September was the opening of the shop. December, I separated. And it was like, I mean, if you see the story and what I would like to, that you help me to nail it so we could share it with your followers, it was like 3 years of, I was feeling it like losing everything, you know? But like I always said, you have to empty your hands to receive other things.
Yeah.
You know? So, of course, who can be more important if you don't have kids than your parents and your husband, right? And in 3 years or 4, everything was gone.
Wow.
Of course, I have an amazing community, and I always like to point on that, because I mean, because of them, I'm still here in Frankfurt, and I think not absolutely crazy. But yeah, in March, I was sitting in a friend's home where I was renting a room, and we was watching the news, which I didn't really understand so well. And she looked at me and said, "Yeah, we're going to a lockdown." And I just thought, okay, I'm renting a room of a friend, like if I'm 20-year-old, with my bags and my things in my car, the rest of the things at my ex-husband's house. The people that I sell the food, it's not going to work, because the consulate was absolutely empty, from 800 people to 25, that security people. Everything that I had, I invested in that shop in September, which it was what my father left.
Yeah.
I'm getting through a divorce. Cool.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So I think how to reinvent yourself, how to find yourself in these situations, how not to lose your hope, and how to ride the horse when it's too crazy, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a very sensitive person. I grow a lot of, or maybe not a lot, but I grow here in Frankfurt people that for me now are my family.
Yeah.
So, of course, I was already much better with my parents passing away, because I born when my parents were quite old. So it was not an idea that never happened through my head. I was oops, I did it again, but in a good way. So I knew I was going to lose them not too old. Of course, it hurts. But let's say it was more about as a woman, 38 years old, um, financially, how I'm gonna support myself.
Yeah.
This not completely wrong, but wrong for me, depending on others. Okay, you know, like I have my dad anyway, or I have my mom anyway, or I have my husband.
Yeah.
I was a young kid. I mean, I was of course, I was the youngest at home and the only woman. So I was very, I would say, spoiled, but I was very loved.
Yeah.
And I was always like under the, oh, because of my culture too, like, okay, I need to have someone to feel safe. You know,
Yeah.
I had never lived on my own in my whole life. I mean, when I lived on my own, I was with a friend.
Yeah.
And then I was married, and then I lived with a partner before my marriage. So I was never alone. So literally, if moving to Germany was being naked, this moment was being naked in the toilet. And then somebody opened the door and oops, you're in a stadium. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it was not only naked.
Yeah.
You know, it's not only naked. It was naked and sitting in the toilet and stadium looking. I thought, okay, I'm vulnerable.
Yeah.
But I knew one thing, and I always did, and it's first, I'm not gonna give up. It's been a long way. So I will not let myself go.
Nice.
So that was the first thing. I stay alone in the house of my friend because she moved with a boyfriend because of COVID. People couldn't transport themselves so much, which it was good because it gives me space to walk, to breathe, to cry, to sleep, to say, okay, you know, literally, Kelly, nothing was mine. The kitchen was not mine. My clothes was not in a closet. I mean, how you could see it. I could not see no one because everybody was with their family and the rule was be with your family, and the people was afraid to meet me because I was still sometimes doing cooking at people's homes because I needed to support myself.
Yeah, completely.
So I can tell you that I didn't saw in 3 months any one of my friends or longer. They was all really in their families and yeah. So I thought, okay, what can I do now? So I called my family and my friends and I said, I'm going to start doing online cooking courses. I'm going to charge €5 and I do 3 times in the day, whatever. So in the morning was arepas, in the afternoon empanadas, in the evening Mexican soup. Whoever wants to join me, put in my PayPal €5. So people was putting 5, 25, 50. I had clients who send me €300 with a note. Whenever you want and everything gets better, just come and eat with us. We don't need the money back. That was really awesome. And then companies of clients start calling me. We want to do a meetup. We cannot cook together. We cannot go to dinner together. So we pay you. You cook, everybody at their home, cook with their family. And the companies was like kind of trying to cheer up their teams through my services.
Nice.
I had also a client who turned 40. So all of her friends around the world cook with me a risotto. And then I finish my cooking course and then they party together online.
That's cool.
Yeah. So there was a hope.
Yeah.
There was a hope. And then notching. Sorry, because my accent is so posh. Notching changed. Nothing changed at the consulate and I could just not continue there. I mean, that's a long story. But again, we have to, I mean, my lecture in the last years were like, just learn when it's time to let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot force the situation. It was not meant to be anymore.
Yeah.
And I was under the thing, this is the only thing from the past that still belong to me, this shop. Yes, but it's empty, Valentina. Yeah, but I still go and I still sell 3 sandwiches. Yeah, but there is no one. So I keep it, I think, for 6 months, and then there was no possibility. Nobody was going. So I give it up, which means you give up your badge, which means you can never go inside again.
Wow.
Never. After 8 years having access to the US, I give up my badge, my investment. Yeah, I recovered maybe some tables or things, but nothing, because there was no people who was gonna buy it, because there was nobody who would rent that shop. So, okay. Then I thought something will come, and I had a feeling in my heart that something would come. And I was a cooking teacher for cooking school here in Frankfurt called Genus Academy, and they offered me to do a restaurant in summer with them last year, and then everything changed. For the first time, I was involved with a German company, which I was afraid would never happen, because I don't use butter or wine or, truffles.
All those German things.
Yeah, or like the French kitchen, because
Yeah.
everybody's under the thought, like, my German is still not so good. So, of course, there was a lot of, I know I will not give up, but what is going to come up?
Yeah.
So they offered me to open the Latin Summer Garden last year, and we prepared so many things. I was like working insanely to create a nice concept, and we did it. And we made everything so people could have experiences at home. And the day that we was going to open our shop for experiences at home, the restaurants could be open. So from one day to another, we have to change the menu. And on the opening, we have 170 people there just queuing.
Wow.
It was amazing. I just looked through the balcony to the terrace, and I just freak out. I mean, I just like really looked to the sky and thought, oh my God. I mean, I couldn't have never dreamed of something so important and meaningful for me, just to be here with all of these chefs with white jackets and the traditional guys, 90% men, of course, running my brand. And I mean, for me, it was important, and it's like a little detail, but I wanted that says by Enamor, because it means like there is my brand, like ruling the concept. It's me.
Yeah.
And yeah, that happened, and that opened just like a world of opportunities. And after, like walking and saying, yeah, here we go, here we go, here we go, but not really knowing what was going to happen. Then that day I thought, there is always a way, there is always a new opportunity. And if you know what you want, like what we always said, the universe is preparing everything for you, but we just sometimes don't want to let it go.
Yeah.
Because we are afraid not to be 100% in the comfort zone. I mean, getting divorced, losing your parents, COVID, it's not something that I would have choose,
Exactly. Yeah.
But it was something that we will all, no, not a divorce, and of course not COVID, but losing somebody that we love, it's something that it will happen to us. It's just that sometimes there is like a little bit of years that we think like, hey, stop it a little.
Yeah.
But then it makes it beautiful, because I was so open, and I was in such a state that I didn't have these state rules 2+2, that I saw my new team, life, everything with a new perspective.
Yeah.
So, for example, I fall in love with Frankfurt.
Funny how that happens eventually.
It happens because I always relate Frankfurt with my ex-husband, and the
Yeah.
things were not working. So instead of accepting that my relation was not working, I was blaming that it's hard for me to adapt. So I decided to stay here, which it was like a huge release on my chest.
Yeah.
Because then it means, Valentina, you have a home.
Yeah.
You know, because I
Yeah.
accept it. This
Yeah.
is my home. I question myself. Everybody asked me, but why you don't go back to Colombia? And I could not say why I had not go back to Colombia, but then I understood that unconsciously this was my home, but consciously I wanted not to accept it because it will have meant my relation was not working. But since it was over,
Yeah.
this was my home.
Yeah. Completely. Isn't it interesting that once there is this major thing of acceptance, and also when you finally accept your situation and not so much resistance, because I find it super interesting how we unconsciously can resist things, and maybe knowing or unconsciously not knowing that as soon as you accept where you are, man, it's unbelievable how your world can completely change, because when you're resisting, you're also resisting blessings that the universe can give you. But it's because you're scared, right? You have it's the scared of the unknown. You have no idea how it's going to pan out at all. And I mean, because I'm learning the same thing with being here in Frankfurt. I hated it when I moved here. And then all of a sudden, it's like last week, and I'm like, I think it's growing on me.
Nice.
But it's also because your community, the people you surround yourself with. And as soon as you accept, all of a sudden the universe is like, hey, take this and take this and take this and take this. And you're like, oh my God. As soon as I just said, okay, I let go, I'm going to go with the flow, all of a sudden it all just starts opening up, which clearly you have done. And it's proving that to you, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So when you're going through all this life experience or shit that you've gone through, I mean, I know that, you were trying not to lose hope, but how, and you had a community, but were there certain things, do you have a spiritual practices or meditations or something that really kept you going?
Yes, 100%. I moved to a small flat, but mega pretty. It's like in the top of a house, so it's like, like these triangular roofs and like quirky walls. And it was like just with this energy that I thought, oh my God, this is like my little refugee. And then first of all, like decorating it and like grounding myself in a place, I think it's super important for every human. I mean, it doesn't have to be nothing. It's not about the material things. It's about, the second thing is being thankful. Like being thankful because we could also have more.
Always. Yeah.
But we could always also have less.
Yeah.
And like when I hug myself in that flat and thought, Mama, you are unbelievable, really. I mean, you are like, honestly, I did felt it there, like, who would, the 20-year-old Valentina who had everything in Colombia studying law, like with everything, would have never imagined you 38-year-old living in a room that was the size of my parents' room, like the room where I used to sleep at my parents' home.
Yeah.
Feeling so proud, not of what I have in my account, but of what I have in my head and my heart to continue fighting. Like giving myself credit, which I have not really done before, was important.
Yeah, completely.
I love water, and I love smells and like aromatherapy, and I have a cute bath in my flat, so I used to go to my bath and meditate, I think almost every day.
Nice.
Really, it was like a moment for me to say, okay, how I'm feeling. I'm not gonna avoid my feelings. I'm going to respect.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of days, Kelly, that I cried. I missed my husband. I had to accept it, that it was over. It was not an easy divorce at all.
Okay.
And I start therapy, not with a, how would you say that in English? Not traditional therapist, a person who talked to me, and also it's a chiropractic, so she just kind of helped me to, because I kind of get very tense. Oof, that helped me a lot. She is amazing. So let's say I was learning not to be always so strong, actually. Just to accept we are broke now, not financially only, but yes, we are broke, but we will find the pieces. And that gives me less anxiety of having always to hold the whole balloon, the building, from me and the rest of the people around. And the last thing that I learned, that I have never learned before until this situation, it's to set up my boundaries.
Oh, so important. Yep.
I learned with my therapist that I am a sensitive personality. I have never heard about it. It's a condition that some people have, which people can read about it, and how some things affect me more, how I see life, universe, how I feel physically and emotionally, the things, and things that overwhelm me, that I always pretend, no, I'm cool. I'm cool about this. I'm cool about that. Like, no, boundaries. So I cannot do it. I'm still learning, and I'm a workaholic. So because of course I hide my emotions behind my kitchen. Now I'm now I'm so much out. I'm here. But yes, like being thankful, connecting my feelings physically and emotionally. If you love, I don't know, air or essence or eating or a massage, it's because your body is talking. So giving yourself this little presence every day just to nature your soul. It's just like makes you stronger. Setting boundaries and giving yourself credit for every little step. I mean, just, I pay my rent this month. Hey, I find a new job. Yay, I'm running one restaurant. Now at the moment I'm running just two restaurants, a catering. Now I have more employees. A lot of things that I would have not done, but it's still every day at the time, and you go 2 steps forward and then one backward, and sometimes happen that you go 7 backward. But then what's the good thing? You already went 7 steps backward that you already walk. So going back to the 7 steps, it's easier because you already know that you walk them and how you can do it faster.
That's good advice. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's interesting how life has us take those 7 steps back just to remind you, well, you've done it before, you've got this. Now you're learning a different way to do it again.
100%.
Do it again, but you're perfecting it each time a little bit more. Oh, okay. I didn't see it that way before. Okay, this is cool. And at the time, you're still like, God, I can't believe we're going steps backwards. Oh my God. But then it's because of the boundaries and the therapy and it's easier to handle.
100%.
Yeah,
I mean, I think the spiritual life as a choice for me, it's really important.
Yeah.
More and more, the older I get, the more I want to slow down. You want to eat the world when you are 20 because you just don't know nothing.
It's true.
So the less you know, the more you think because you just don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, completely.
So like, I know I have my soul, my heart, that I try to connect every day, because I know I have the answer within me, you know, always. And I learned that. I mean, I could have divorced much, much faster, sooner, but I knew it, but I just hold on. And it happened on the perfect moment. But if I would have had the tools, I would have helped myself with the process.
Yeah.
And being spiritual doesn't mean anything specific, but we can, I mean, I decided not to neglect that there is much more than a body.
Yeah.
And how can I support the 99% of myself that people cannot see, to be more me, and also to share it with the people, because we are a butterfly effect.
Yeah.
So if I'm in a good condition, positive, I can teach the people, empower people, love people, share good energy with people. It's a little sand that I am throwing to the universe. So how can I get better myself? Because it's just something that it's good for me, but actually for everybody around me.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like my partner or my friends or my team get love from me, support from me, they will go home happy, so we all give each other, you know, it's like, it's really important.
Yeah. I love what you said, that it's all within you already. And I think, especially as women, we forget that it's all there.
Absolutely.
It's all there. Sometimes we have to go digging, and we have to go through things to teach us that, because your spiritual practice is there essentially for you to go inwards to find out that actually you have all the answers within. Because so many times on everyone's spiritual journey, they're just constantly grabbing for straws of anything and everything. Like, tell me what to do, tell me what to do. But it's actually tools, like you said, to put in your toolbox to help you discover that you already know
100%
what to do.
100%.
It's that intuition. It's developing that intuition and that inner voice saying, hello, I've been trying to get your attention for years, but you are blocking me because you just don't know how to hear it. And I think that's so important, that you have it in you. Yes, so in you. And so many times people, look at you just to their friends and outward, but as soon as you start trusting yourself, because you were trusting yourself that whole time, you won't ever go astray, because you are so solid and I'm going to make the right decision. Or if you don't make the right decision that time, I know I'll be still okay.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
And I think something that I like, and that I like to support in these processes to the people around me, is now it's like a trend that everything has to be cool and everything has to be perfect. And, don't think about the bad things. Wake up and just say, woo. And I hated it, because that put so much pressure when you have a depression, when you are like, sometimes you're getting through a divorce. Yeah, but I don't know, like people would say things like, yeah, but you have it, or just move on, or it's time to forget about him, or in different
that's not helpful.
No, yeah, but like this spirituality that is not really deep, but just phrases that sounds really good, but it's not really not solving the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like being through crisis, having a depression, having anxiety, I had a breakdown. Yeah. I thought that I was having a heart attack. I'm not saying that I was every day, not at all.
Yeah.
Giving credit also to these moments where you are not feeling good, it's important, and saying, is just see it in a perspective that is not forever. Seeing that there is always a light, but it doesn't mean that now has to be the light, because it gives a lot of anxiety, this pressure to always be okay. You can have a bad mood, you can explode one day, you can think that you are not going to make it, but there is always a way to go to a better state, even though if it's slow.
Yeah.
Because we tend to compare with others.
Yeah.
like, but how she can be so perfect. In my case, for example, I remember when I separate, I used to cry alone and think, why I could not have been with my friends, like my Colombian friends, you know. They stay in Cali. They have their normal in breakers career. Why I just give up being a lawyer, marrying a guy that speak my language, eat arepas with me every day. Why I was not this normal girl? Why I am not like the others? Why I'm now at 40 doing this, or I don't have kids or a family? And I see it with my friends. Sometimes I go to like sometimes I arrive home and I make a huge achievement. And at the beginning I used to say, yeah, but for what? I don't have nobody to share it. And now I think like how cool, I can do anything I want.
Exactly.
You know?
Yep.
And I'm not saying that having a family and kids it's not amazing, but I understood, Kelly, that I was making unconscious decisions to lead me to a space that might not fit me. And nobody else was really asking me, go and get married.
Mm-hmm.
Or nobody else was asking me, why not?
Yeah.
You know, so I like my freedom. I love traveling. I am a creative person. I like changing things. So maybe, or maybe not 100% sure, my next partner will not fit the standards of the last partners that I have looked for, because they would never support my soul and my heart, because I was just pretending to be someone that I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, so the type
Yeah.
of relations that I grow now, um, let's say love wise, which took me years to even think, are under a completely different thing. I'm for the first time at 40 years old learning to live the love under freedom, not expecting nothing. I don't expect, is he my boyfriend? 100% no. I don't care if it's a name or another name. I don't think if I will get married or not, if I will leave or not, because I just believe that the things will happen if they are right or not. And of course, when relations grow, there are certain commitments. I'm not completely out of that, but I just think that I was always like handling into a relation, and now I just enjoy the surprises that life wants to give me, to learn who I am again, and then I can make a right decision. Yeah. Now I'm under construction.
Yeah.
You know?
Completely. I mean, it's nice because we're always under construction, but it helps that we appreciate this under construction life that we have now. You constantly growing. You know, it's like you're a construction site that keeps it's getting built up and getting built up and getting built up, and you'll never be 100% complete. But it's exciting because you're like, oh, we put a new door in today, or we put this in today, and you've gotten to a point where like, well, this is me. I'm growing. I'm learning. Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
This is who I am. I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of what I've built. I'm proud of the community I've created. And I'm not defined by who I am with in a love relationship. And that's brilliant. And I wish so many more women would go into relationships like that, because so many times we're not taught any differently. We haven't had that time to experience things on our own. And you go into a relationship that defines you as a person.
100%.
And then this is also when you've gone in not being a complete whole person. So many even marriages fail, or you have to, if you are in a relationship that's willing to work, you have to take two people. I mean, my husband and I are constantly talking about this all the time. We are two different people trying to be on the same page, but you have to allow that other person to have room to outgrow you or be a little bit behind, but still give that person room to be themselves and you to be yourselves, and somehow meet in the middle without compromising who you are as a person. But if you don't know who you are, that's really hard to do.
And look, for example, when we married, we all think we'll be forever. Yes.
Yeah.
It's normal.
Yeah.
That's a fact. And I won't argue it, because I would not marry it again if I wouldn't think that it will not last. Because I mean, you don't. But I also learned that it's not a failure in this sense.
Exactly.
You cannot walk if you don't have legs.
Yeah.
And I am absolutely sure in this spiritual path that everybody who comes through our lives, it's because it was meant to be, and it was something that you have experienced.
Yeah.
And of course, you can change the story
Mm-hmm.
by your decisions.
Yes.
And love, it's not something that is just like it's there and the love is end. Love, it's a decision that you made every day.
Yep.
But can also happen, Kelly, that the person that married that person, it's another one in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And some people have, let's say, the luck to develop and change, because we are, of course, in continuous movement, that this change pass together for a long time or even forever.
Yeah.
But maybe there are others who are meant to be together for 9 years, 7 years, 20 years, and then it's meant to be finished.
Yes.
And then this forever was forever until the day that we don't belong together anymore.
Yeah.
And that concept, free me, because it's like not all the people who married has to stay together forever, and that is also okay.
Yes.
And you can marry as or have partners as many as you want until you find the right one. And if you are this type of person, or you are in this life path who it's 7 and not 1, it's also okay.
Yes.
Not that I don't have a commitment. I am a super mega committed person, and I adore to be in a relation. Really, I love it. But I think there is nothing who can really affect your energy more than your partner. Yes. I mean, the partner is the 100% person who affects your path. And it's better really to give up.
Yeah. Than to hold on to something that's
100%.
Completely. And I think that's such a good point, because it's true. It's not always meant forever. And I think this is now such an important thing for individuals and couples to understand. People grow and change and have different life paths that they're meant to take. And it's not always meant that they're going to go to do that together. And I think this is such an old concept, and it's also an old religious concept of it's this person or, forever, no matter if you're completely destroying each other and tearing and unhappy. And absolutely, I think it's an important thing that you said, that I absolutely, I love that this is where we are now in society, where we can say these things because it's so freeing, like you said.
But look, if you see it this way, then it's more likely that your relation will last than for this forever.
Exactly.
Because embracing the reality that love, it's not the only fact that it's important in a relation, and that it's a common decision, and it's a project that you have to work together every day.
Yeah.
And it's just not like, because we are married, now we are forever, but we don't have to do nothing.
Yeah.
It's why relations fail.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you know that you don't take care of something, it will mean that you can lose it, even though if you love it so much, you will then take care.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because otherwise, I mean, we are not women that will stay unhappy in a relation.
No.
Yeah. And nobody should do it. And I think 99% of the people who stay in a relation, work-wise or love-wise or whatever, it's because we are afraid of letting go.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I can tell you, it's like after what I experienced, like with all of that I have said here, it's like the universe will provide what you need.
Yeah.
Only when you let go what you don't need.
Yeah. I think a lot of women, maybe men too, I can't rule them out, stay with their partners because they're nervous financially how they're going to support themselves, or they had kids and they stayed home, or and a lot of women stay in these really unhappy relationships because they have they're not trusting themselves that they will figure it out. That trust again, that, well, my husband, I've been in a position where I haven't had to work because my husband makes all the money. So what am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not a reason to also stay in an unhappy marriage, because if you have family and friends around you, they will support you, they will help you.
Absolutely.
And trust yourself that you will figure it out. There are so many times we don't give ourselves, like you said before, enough credit. Well, I did that before, I can do it again. Or
Yes.
I can learn a new skill, I can do this.
Yes.
And when you're also put in a situation where you have to, by God, you fucking figure it out. We're all capable of learning new things.
And we are in a very there are two things that are in our side as a foreigners and living in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
If you have this situation in Colombia and you really have no one, it's not that you will find a job so easy. But I can assure you that if you are humble, and like I would have done, of course, under certain limits, anything to support myself. And when I said anything, I will not have any problem to do anything, any job that I will have not do before, I will do it and I will feel proud of myself. So
Yeah.
There are moments not to do your dream job. There are moments not to have the dream flat. There are moments not to have the dream trip. There are moments where we just have to be thankful for every little step to get back those things to again.
Yeah.
And we need to be humble, Kelly. We are no better than no one, not worse than no one to do this or that job. And if we want to recover our freedom and dignity, it means sometimes being more open-minded.
Yeah.
We tend to have, these are my standards. Our standards, sometimes when they are physical or external, are not as important as the things that you can do to support yourself. And I can tell you that in every single thing that I have done in the last 3 years, I met the most amazing people that today are probably the most important ones in my life.
Yeah.
In the last 3 years, I met the most important people in my life now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because I was so naked that any jean will fit me.
Yeah.
And then I let myself, like I was not looking, oh no, these jeans are not cool. I thought, okay, they fit me.
Yeah.
I'm not naked anymore. Maybe they're a little bit tight. And then one day I wake up and said, these are exactly the jeans that I was looking.
Yeah.
My friends doesn't have nothing to do one with each other. The person that I love has nothing to do with the people that I will have think before, because I just learned that there is a rainbow of options. And then it was like, whoa, I didn't know that I like this.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I could be friends with someone 40 years older than me or 30 years younger than me.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, I think that's super important, knowing that anything you can, like, you just have to really be open, and then it will make you so strong.
Yeah.
And the things will not be theirs. And yes, what I wanted to say is that about being a foreigner, that also we are very supportive with our community.
Yes.
Because being a foreigner, it's a vulnerable situation.
Yeah.
So we tend to react absolutely generous to our community. And my community was like amazing. Of course, the women in my life are mega important.
Yeah.
And being in a country that, even though if it's hard sometimes and everything, let's say economically, it's easier to stand up again.
Completely. You have that support here.
Yeah.
That's one thing you don't have coming from the US. You don't have that support like you do here in Germany. And Germany has a lot of faults, but they do value the people that do live here. Even if you're a foreigner, they will give you the support you need.
Mhm.
And I think that's a super, super important.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So moving forward into the future, I know all we have is now. We always have the present, but what describe the future you. What's your dream? If you could have anything, what's your dream? What do you see yourself doing? What would you like to bring here to Frankfurt? And for yourself and your community.
So let's say about Enamor.
Mm-hmm.
I think Enamor is ready to settle down. I think I already nailed a product that I can identify my brand, myself as a chef. We already grow kind of a name, but I will like to settle down. I think we are ready to receive a bigger project, something where I can also go to work and I feel home.
Mm-hmm.
That will be really important for me to have a routine. I don't have a routine. I mean, I'm 100 places every day.
Yeah.
So to combine my work and my private life will be really a big dream. I have been working extra hours last years. And of course, that doesn't help myself and my private life. But I knew I would have to be patient, and I have good feelings that next year will be really good for that. I still love traveling, so I would love to every year go to a trip like I do to train myself in different countries as a chef, and also learning the culture. That will be like a big plus. I think it's always nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's, I think I'm ready to settle down. Like I said, I am under construction still, but I think we are getting there, like finished with the building.
Nice.
Like we are, maybe we will have to do some renovations after we open up for sure. But yeah, I feel that I'm more like we find almost most of the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
What it's empty, we fill it with gold, like the Japanese.
Oh, love that.
Yes.
That
So
nice.
I think slowing down maybe a little will be a big wish, and settling down here in Frankfurt in a business. Yeah. I mean, and Enamor, it's a brand that my slogan is the magic of the South. So for me, it's important to share with people the South American culture through food. But it's not only about the taste, it's also about the sharing, that I can have contact with my people, give cooking classes. And of course, I told you, like, I would love to have more contact with women who have different projects, and that I could translate their ideas with flavors, with different projects that we could just like nature ourselves, because food business, it's quite harsh, but it needs tons of creativity.
Yeah.
And you need to take something from a place where you can just like let it go and then have more space for your creativity.
Yeah.
So that will be also nice.
That sounds lovely.
Let's see.
I have high hopes for Valentina because she has so much passion, and her food is amazing. So you're still going to be at Browstill for a while?
Yeah, I'm gonna be in Braustil. That's not closed.
Great.
It's always there. So
and then you have 2 more weeks at Latin Summer Garden. Yes. So this will be going up on Monday. So go get in before it closes. And please go visit her at Browstill because it's so yummy. I can't even tell you. And follow Valentina and all her work and support her. And if you have any creative ideas and would like to incorporate her food and her talent, please get in touch with her because you will not be disappointed. Thank you for sharing your wisdom today. I really appreciate it.
No, I loved it. I loved it. I enjoy it a lot.
Good.
It's a long story.
But we learn from each other's stories. And as I'm a firm believer, women sharing more, we create a community and we become stronger.
100%. Yeah. And I just want to say again, thank you, Kelly. I mean, I love your energy. You are literally the definition of cool, I would say. Like very unique personality. And for example, I am not a lot into fashion. But you brought it in a way that I really enjoy it because it's really accessible. I mean,
yeah.
I always told you, I don't know how all your clothes fit me, but it's like you have a way of, it's like the way you look, it's more about how you feel and what you can express.
Exactly.
And yeah. I feel that that is really how I can identify myself with, let's say, fashion or clothing or things. But more than that, it's like you have a very specific style, not only in your clothes, but a very specific like energy. And it's easy to get it. You get it through your Instagram, you know,
thanks.
like we met physically,
Yeah.
like much after we was in contact.
Yeah.
But it's very honest what you put on Instagram, because when I met you, I thought it's 100% what I was expecting, and doesn't happen when you met someone through Instagram.
Yeah,
and you
usually
made it
there's always a filter on personality.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that I think it's really cool. And I want to also say that I'm happy to see how you find yourself a little bit more and more all the time, and to give us the opportunity to speak.
Yeah.
Because when I was through this process, it helped me a lot to see that other people made it in my situation. That was so necessary for me. So I think this space is beautiful. And of course, if anybody would like to have a talk or a coffee with me, I'm happy to do so. If anybody, of course, needs any help or advice related to gastronomy, and you are starting your business, I will be happy to do it for free, to give you some advices. And yeah.
Brilliant. See, this is women supporting women, and this is what we're all about. But thank you again.
Thank you.